All are visible, my screen. All of you visible? All of you visible, my screen? All of you
Yes,
see
sir.
all of you see the pictures of books. These are the books, nothing but it's the official publications, here concentrations. It is related with the hospital formula. Hospital name itself that in hospital there are some formularies are developed by the particular committee, that is PTC, Pharmacy and Therapeutic Committee, develop the formulary, hospital formulary. What is formulary? Nothing but it's the official preparations or official book publish the list of drugs in the concerned book. That books are called as formulary. What are the list published in the official books? List of drugs published in official books, that is called as formulary. As per your syllabus concern, the content of your syllabus was definition of hospital formulary, their contents in hospital formulary, what are the contents are available or required in the hospital formulary, the differentiation of hospital formulary and drug list. What are the differences? You have to see here. Some preparations of hospital formulary and their revisions. Once they prepare the formulary, revision is every time it is needed. For revisions, what type of consideration you have to consider for the changes or revision in the list of drugs which is present in the hospital, sanctioned or approved by the policy holders of concerned hospitals. And lastly, addition and deletion of drugs. Whatever the drug list available with the hospital formulary, their additions and deletions. What is the methods that we have to study in this hospital formulary? It's a simple one. Formulary means just list published in the official books. And that list you are prepared with the help of management of concerned hospitals with the hospital staff, medical staff, along with the pharmacist are involved to prepare the list of drugs which are used in the hospitals, nothing but. What you study after finishing of these sessions, this sub-unit, you have to learn about the hospital formulary and its contents and the utilization of it in the hospitals. Some prepared hospital formulary preparations and their revisions each and every time whenever necessary. Why it is necessary? Because n numbers of drugs are available or entering the market. So for the clinical purpose, they have revised the particular list of drugs in the hospital formulary. This is required because each and every time every 3 to 4 months there is a one molecule are entering the market, new molecule. So on the basis of clinical support for the clinical provisions, it is necessary of the revision of the list which is present in the hospital formulary. Then you learn about the differentiation between drug list, simple drug list and hospital formulary, and addition of drugs and deletion of drugs in the hospital formulary. These are the things you have to learn after completion of this topic. So let's move with the formulary, their classification. Formularies are classified on the basis of their utilizations. National, international, general, state, joint, and hospital pharmacy. International formulary, nothing but these are the internationally accepted publications or books where the number of drugs are listed. That formulary is called as international formulary. Some national formulary preserved by the every nations and which is used for the clinical practice. Similarly, general formulary, state formulary, every state prepare their formulary list of drugs which are used. For example, corona-like conditions, there are the protocols or formulary of the list of drugs which are given during the corona treatments. That list are followed by internationally, nationally, general, state, or sometimes in the joint venture, they apply the joint formulary. And finally, individual formulary. They use the particular treatment, particular drugs which are used during the treatment of corona. Like that, these are the general classification of formulary. First class is international formulary, national formulary, general formulary, state formulary, joint formulary, and lastly, our topic is
classification, general formulary, state formulary, joint formulary, hospital formulary. असली हवा आली का माहिती थंडगार नुसती अंघोळ केली की नाही झाली
here you have to study with the hospital formulary. General definition of formulary, it's an official or authorized publications of an approved list of medicines for use in a hospital. That is called as formulary. A group of hospitals or a society or a state or a region or a country or a number of countries, they prepare the formulary. Formulary nothing but is a list of medicines approved by the concerned state or concerned international, concerned nations, concerned hospital or concerned regions. That list are officially published. That is called as formulary. We have to consider with the topic session, that is hospital formulary. Hospital formulary, it is nothing but without the definition, it's an official publication, not doubt. Hospital formulary is a continually revised application of pharmaceutical dosage agents and their form that reflects the current clinical view of the medical staff. Hospital pharmacy is a continually revised. Whatever the complications occur with the dosage forms, which reflect to the current clinical view of the particular medical staff. This hospital formulary, nothing but it's a list of medicines. It includes in the hospital pharmacy the ancillary information related to the toxicity of the particular drugs should be maintained. Unwanted side effects should be noted. beneficial effect of some drugs which are considered most useful and safe in the patient care by a particular hospitals. Means whatever the drugs you have to mention in the hospital or listed in the hospital pharmacy, this information, this necessary information related to the drug should be notified in the hospital pharmacy, like toxicity effect of concerned drugs, unwanted side effects of the concerned drugs, and beneficial effect of the concerned drug should be included in the hospital formulary. These informations, necessary information should be available in the hospital pharmacy formulary. Why it is needed for the hospital pharmacy formulary? Because increasing number of new drugs manufactured and marketed by the drug companies. This is a major disadvantage of new drugs, increasing the new drugs. Due to that, it is needed for the hospital formulary, either deletion, additions, or revision of the concerned drugs which are used in the hospital. Increasing second need of the hospital formulary, increasing complexity of the unwanted effect of modern potent drugs. Third need, it is newer sale promotions of the concerned pharmaceutical industries. Like one of the pharmaceutical industries, they are promoted to sell concerned drugs, concerned brand for 2 lakhs, 3 lakhs per month. They offer in the form of some objects, either in the form of cash, percentage cash. This type of sales promotions was offered. To avoid that type of sales promotion in hospitals, this is needed. And finally, the public interest. Whatever the drugs available in the hospital pharmacy or listed in the hospital pharmacy, they should be lower possible cost because it's a public interest. These are the needs. With the help of these needs, we are required the hospital pharmacy. First is encouraging number of newer drugs in the market. To that newer drugs are enter into our list of the hospital pharmacy to identify which is required as per the current scenario. Then they added in the hospital pharmacy. Some potent drugs having the unwanted effect. So that identify the increasing unwanted effect and towards effect to the concerned drugs and either deletion or revising the list of the hospital pharmacy. Newer sales promotion to avoid that type of unwanted, unethical practices by the pharmaceutical industry. They are avoided. That's why it is needed. And finally, public interest. Whatever the drugs are listed in the hospital pharmacy, they are cheaper than the other drugs to the patients. These are the basic requirement for establishing the hospital pharmacy. There are some principles for preparing the hospital pharmacy formulary. There are 7 to 8 principles here mentioned in the slides. First is whatever the hospital pharmacy are prepared, they are prepared under the Pharmacy and Therapeutic Committee, which is organized by the concerned governing body of the hospitals. This PTC, that is Pharmacy Therapeutic Committee, is composed of some clinicians and pharmacists, which will be prepare the hospital pharmaceutical systems in the concerned hospitals by discussion of the newer drugs, current scenario. On that basis, they have prepared the list of drugs for the concerned hospital as a hospital formulary. Second principle, that is the PTC shall develop the policy and procedure for governing the hospital formulary. And whatever the policies are designed by the PTC, that policies are adopted by the medical staff of the concerned hospitals. Which type of policy? There is updation in the list, developing of the hospital formulary, monitoring and review of the concerned drugs, implementation process. These policies, whatever the policies are designed by the pharmacy and therapeutic committee of the concerned hospitals, that policy are adopted by the medical staff, all medical staff of the concerned hospital. Next next principles. Policies and procedures of the hospital pharmacy shall afford guidance in the appraisal, selection, procurement, storage, distribution, use, safety procedures, and other matter related to drug in the hospitals, and shall be published in the hospital formulary. Means whatever the drugs are listed in the hospital pharmacy, their storage, their proper distribution, their selection of the medicaments, their use, their safety precautions should be guidance to the particular hospital or medical staff through this hospital formulary. Next principle is medical staff of the concerned hospital shall adopt the policy of including the drugs by their non-proprietary names. Like all the medical staff adopt the particular drugs, a particular name of the drugs, which is mentioned in the hospital pharmacy formulary. This hospital formulary are designed by the pharmacy and therapeutic committee under the supervision. Next guiding principle related with the hospital formulary. In the absence of written policies approved by the medical staff, means in extreme conditions or in the absence of physicians, the pharmacist shall dispense the brand related to the disease. Once the hospital formulary was designed by the governing body of the governing body of the hospitals who have prepared the list of drugs in the hospital formulary. In the certain hospitals, the nursing personnel must be informed in writing about the hospital formulary system exists in the hospitals for their effective uses. Some nurses are also involved to inform the system about related the hospital formulary. With the help of these principles, whatever the list of drugs mentioned in the hospital formulary, they are not substituted. No substitution or substitution will be avoided because as per the policies and procedure of the governing body of the hospitals, if substitution occurs, there is a different rows or different drugs should be entered or dispensed to the concerned patients. So, avoid the substitution is the major motto for the preparation of hospital formulary. If any changes in the hospital systems or in the content, it should be informed to the hospital staffs or medical staff of the concerned hospitals. Whatever the changes in the hospital formulary, that changes should be intimated or informed to the medical staff of hospital. Means one of the drugs are discontinued from the hospital usage. So that particular drugs are informed to the medical staff. So, so this drug is not used henceforth. So and so drugs are so and so complication. So these drugs are discontinued from the hospital pharmacy. And these drugs are, this information is shared or informed to the medical staffs. These are the principles. These are the general principles are followed in the hospital formulary. And finally, the last principle, labeling of the medicines with non-proprietary names. Right? In the labels, these are the formats are should be included. This is the examples of labels of hospital formulary. Here, name of the drugs, name of the manufacturer and distributors should be mentioned. Prescription order and dispensing is done according to the formulary policies. Here in the label, you have to see the name of the drugs along with the date where the particular prescription are given by the particular physicians or hospital staff, medical staffs. Here the name of the particular drugs along with the brand, along with the strengths, and here you have to see oral with how many mLs and how many types. Dosage forms, quantity, expiry date of concerned drug, and the types of medicines and which hospitals these labels are produced. Name of that concerned hospitals. So these are the principles of hospital formulary. Next section of hospital formulary is a parts of hospital formulary. First part is introduction related to the hospital formulary. In hospital formulary, basic information of each drug should be available. Supplementary information on each drug should be available with hospital formulary. Prescribing and dispensing guidelines, whatever the policies and procedures designed by the concerned governing body of the hospitals. That guidelines are used during the prescribing and dispensal of the drugs mentioned in the hospital. General drug use and advice to the concerned patients. Some miscellaneous sections are available in the hospital pharmacy. These are the parts of the hospital pharmacy. All of you take the screenshot related to the parts of hospital pharmacy. Hospital pharmacy, nothing but it's a list of drugs. Whatever the information related to the drugs, medicament, dosage forms, that should be present in the hospital pharmacy section. And this hospital pharmacy are designed by the governing body of hospitals in the form of PTC, Pharmacy and Therapeutic Committee. It consists of medical staffs and pharmacists. With the help of that, they are designing the list of drugs which is mentioned in the hospital pharmacy are present in the next segment, that is differentiation between hospital formulary and drug list. Here the difference. Drug list I'll take the screenshot of the differentiation of hospital pharmacy and drug list. In a hospital formulary, listing of drugs by their generic names, followed by information on strength, form of drugs, dosage forms, posology, toxicological effect, use and recommended quantity to be dispensed. These are the things mentioned in the hospital formulary. Instead of brands, they are used generic names. Like paracetamol is a generic name, and brands are Calpols, Proceeds. These are the brands. Hospital pharmacy, nothing but it's a listing of drugs along with their strength, dosage forms, toxicological effect, posological effect, and their use along with the recommended quantity to be dispensed. Whereas in the drug list, generic names followed by the data on the strength and form only in drug list. They give only strength, how many milligrams, how many grams particular drugs are available along with their forms, dosage forms only. Drug list, nothing but you have to heard in the drug today, like that. In that, there is a list of the drugs along with their brands. They are listed in the official. Second, difference between the hospital formulary and drug list. This hospital formulary prepared locally by its own clinical staffs. Means this formulary is only applicable with the local part of the hospitals. Whatever the hospitals, which are the hospitals, they prepare their formulary or list and use by own hospitals. Whereas in drug list, these drug lists are prepared by the country's outstanding clinicals, pharmacologists, and pharmacists are involved in the preparation of drug list. Whereas in formulary, the PTC of local body, they are involved in the preparations. Next difference between hospital formulary and drug list. Third is information provided is subject to local needs and desires. So whatever the formulary are designed at local level, while locally designed as per the needs, they are designed. Whatever the information or whatever the drugs are listed in the hospital formulary. Whereas in drug list, according to their pharmacological property, they are listed in the official books. So, formulary is more informative than the drug list. Nothing but in drug list, they give the all information related with the brands, their strengths, as per the as per the content of the concerned brands. They are enter in the drug list. They are drug list are prepared by country-wise as per the supervision of pharmacologists, pharmacists, and physicians. Drug list, nothing but, for example, proceed. For example, paracetamol. Paracetamol is a drug. How many brands available in the paracetamols and how many strengths? 500, 325, 125 in the liquid, solid, or injectable. Whatever the brands available, they are listed as a drug list. But in the formulary, they mention paracetamols, but along with the use of the particular paracetamols, along with the unwanted effect of the paracetamols, they are mentioned in the hospital formulary. The major difference here in drug list, only the list of the concerned drugs and their brands along with the states only. Here in formulary, you have to give the everything related with the particular drugs which is listed in the hospital formulary. And this hospital formulary is prepared locally as per the needs of the local environments. So, hospital pharmacy is more informative than the drug list. This part related to hospital pharmacy today we have concluded. Next session we have to continue on 18th of September. Okay.